Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pick City Podcast. We are your hosts of the baseball division of this. It's NFL Draft Week, but we're talking about baseball. I'm one of your hosts, Zachary Avi, and the man across from me,
Teddy Eller.
Ooh,
Hello,
what's up, Teddy?
Zachary.
High five, buddy. You're doing it the opposite way.
No, I'm not scared. We just both did it to the right.
Anyways, yeah, fix that in post. We got a fun episode for y'all today, and yeah, we're gonna jump right into it as soon as I get my timer ready. Teddy, anything on your mind as I'm getting this?
Anything on my mind? I'm just riding on a high, 2 straight series where
All right,
Phillips has
that's enough
swept.
of that. So we're going to start off with our fantasy segment, and not necessarily fantasy, but if you did not know, we drafted every single division. We drafted 2 players from each team. That's the maximum you can have. They had to be eligible on their Fangraphs depth chart projections for the season. And so there's some people that may be a little out of sorts or not playing or some drops or things. And instead of telling you every single roster transaction, we're just going to go over the standings of the teams and hit some highlights. And we will update this as it goes. We'll try to do this weekly. But as you saw last week, sometimes life gets in the way, but baseball doesn't stop. The worst team of the whole league is my American League Central team. You're muted, buddy. You muted yourself.
No surprise. Not about you, just about the American League Central.
Oh yeah, and my team's terrible. And I mean,
But
best player on
again,
the team,
American League Central. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
Good point.
But, I mean,
La Pantera.
Yeah, RIP. And then in 11th place, a little bit more of a surprise, but again, my first pick basically hasn't been playing on offense. The American League West with Julio Rodriguez leading the way, and the Angels refuse to get people on base for Trout. So that's my team.
True.
Yeah. And then in 10th place, probably the most surprising, but this is where the points get actually really close to each other. From 10th to 5th place is within like 40 points of each other. So it's much closer. But nevertheless, in 10th, it is the National League East drafted by myself. So I have the bottom 3 teams. So shout out me. I like my National League East team a lot, though. We've had a little bit of injuries. We're getting our pitching situation settled. We got those corner Braves players, Riley and Olsen, who are starting to get it going a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, this team's starting to get it going a little bit more this week. I actually had the biggest change of any team in a positive direction this week, according to the stats I'm looking at right now that I don't know what they mean. In 9th, Teddy, your National League East team.
Let's go.
Anything you want to say about your National League East team?
Would not expect my National League East team to be my worst team. I actually felt great after that draft. So the fact that my American League Central team is higher than them, I mean, that surprises me so much.
That is true. However, again, you're a good week, 2 weeks away from being in the top 5. All these teams are very grouped together. Then, Teddy, you have your American League West team.
Yeah, I mean, not as excited about that draft, but yeah, again, still, where's my American League Central? Why are they doing so well?
Yeah, well, your American League, in the American League West, I want to say, one of our better draft videos. So if you haven't watched that one, go and check it out. I don't know why I got so much. It hit the American League West community. So yeah, check it out.
Shouts out.
And then we have, to round out the bottom 6, the lower half teams, Teddy's American League Central team.
There they are. Down them.
Yeah. Now, Teddy, your National League East team being 9th, do you feel like that's a point of pride that you should be more aware of those players since it's your division?
That's my division. I think full responsibility. I mean, there's some changes I need to make. I'll say the biggest blow to that team is Jesus Luzardo has not been the pitcher I thought he was going to be. And pitchers, pitchers give you a lot of points. So whenever you're expecting like high teens, low 20s even from your pitcher, and he's giving you a negative 12 and then a negative 14 the next game, like, it hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of says a lot about you as a fan that your NL East team's doing bad. All right, in sixth place, a top 6 team for the Ivy Leaguers, we do have the American League East. Again, only 5 points away from your next team, but yeah, that team's coming together. Devers being day-to-day and missing some time, I think, is really what's stopping this team from really jumping. And, we made some changes. We got the young gun in there. We got Jackson in there, finally getting on base a tiny bit.
Someone that you drafted that was sent to the minors that you finally were able to get back. And trust me,
Yeah.
I was hung. If I had injuries and I could have made some moves, I might have had Jackson.
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that I have those 3, Jackson, Gunner, and Devers, I'm excited about them clicking. But then, Teddy, in 5th place, you have your National League Central team.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of take the blame for that. I kind of was holding on to Yelly, waiting for some positive news on his injury, and it just never came. I only saw negative after about 5 days of holding on to him, so I was like, all right, time to move on. But yeah, I mean,
they're still 5th. It's not bad.
They're still 5th. I just expect more from them because when I look at that team, I actually really like that team. I would have thought they'd be top 3 of my teams.
And again, you're within 20 points of being in 2nd place with this team, so they're very close. Right above them, you have your American League East team, who, again, I thought you were going to have one really bad spot on that team, and you were able to get rid of them.
Yeah. I mean, everyone that watched it, if you haven't, please go watch it. Still entertaining, even if you know the teams now. I drafted Bobby Dahlbeck because I lost track of my Red Sox and positions and stuff like that. I don't know how they're 3rd. You said they're 3rd overall, right?
4th.
4th overall. Don't know how they're 4th overall after that whole debacle started, but hey, and I just made a change today.
Yeah, I want to say this.
Where I could have gotten Bobby Dahlbeck back on the team.
Right. I was going to say there was a rumor, like, from a lot of your Boston fans and people that believe in Bobby, and you had a chance to get him again, but you still passed. So,
I do believe in Bobby long term, just not for, I guess, the fantasy for this season.
I do not. All right. And by the way, guys, keep in mind these are 9-minute segments. So we only have 2 minutes left. 2-minute warning here as we're rounding out our first base of the podcast. In 3rd place, the Ivy League American. The Ivy League National League West. As you can tell,
good division.
Yeah, very good division, very good team. My guys are starting to get going a little bit more, and really, it's just the pitching in that one that I think is going to decide make or break for me because ended up adding Blake Snell, who's been horrible to start. So if there's an injury, we'll see if I replace him or if he gets it together. But that's really kind of why they're in 3rd.
Cy Young winner. He's just figuring out with a new team.
I've just never been a Blake Snell fan, and I've tried to believe in him, so I take responsibility. If I drop him, he does well. Dodgers fans, sorry.
Giants fans.
Well, no, I'm apologizing to the Dodgers fans if he does well.
Oh, okay.
But as of right now, I'll keep him, and we'll keep clicking. Dodgers and I have some good fans together. 2nd place, where a team like this should be, my National League Central team, the team I'm most aware of and privy to. Yeah, and they've kind of just been a consistent little staying right there.
We'll see how long they stay up at 2nd. I'll say it.
Well, we also have, and not to spoil anything, we have some Reds that are really bringing the team down, to be completely honest. So
it's okay. I had a Red bringing my team down too in National League Central.
And in 1st place,
I mean, it's my National League West. They're gonna easily win it all. Is it going to be close at all this year, Zachary?
I mean, right now Mookie is. I mean, the rest of your team is good too, but I mean, Mookie has to be the best player, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mookie, for context of how the scoring works on this, guys, and we have 15 seconds. Mookie has 110 points himself. My American League Central team has 300. So, Teddy, I'll let you close this one out in the last 5 seconds, and then I'm going to be right back in a second.
All right. I take responsibility for for the National League East teams, but if you look at where both of our standings are for them, maybe it's just not a good division. Maybe it's more on them. Think about it. Marlins, ugh. Nationals, ugh.
All right, now it is time for our next segment of the
Excuses. I make excuses.
Pig City Power Rankings. Look, it's a new segment. We're moving on. And so, again, we both rank these teams. We have potential other teammates that will join in the future. Just kidding. We don't like I'm just kidding. I didn't mean that. Yeah, I kind of mean it. Well, it's more that people don't like us. All right, stay focused.
Facts.
And so we average the teams out, and we have some movement, guys. A lot more than we did the first time. This is going to be a bi-weekly process. For those of you who know what it means, every 2 weeks. Next time, we'll be celebrating with some limes, a little fiesta, because it'll be on Cinco de Mayo. Is that correct, Teddy?
That is correct. Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. What is yours? 5 for 5? Can you do that today? Hey.
I don't know the words.
Okay. Me either, dude. What's really wild is it says there's somebody in the audience right now, and I'm wondering if the connection's bad, so hopefully that got cut. If not, leave a comment and say fiesta. All right, Teddy, you want to be the leader of these power rankings going through this, of just kind of
Yeah, you want me to just run through, just name it 1 to 30?
Yeah, buddy. I think that'd be real good.
All right.
I am confused. Why does it say we have an audience member?
That is confusing. Did you invite someone else? Someone just watching us?
Not yet.
Live? That'd be wild.
I do want to shout out to my man. Make sure I say first and last name right. Kenny Johnson. We will get you on, my guy. I promise you. This is kind of impromptu. Timing wise, it's very hard for us to be on the same page. So we will reach out, even if it's a week in advance, to talk Yankees. So if you want to get on and talk about your team, let us know. All right, Teddy. Pig City Power Rankings. Let's hear what you got.
All right. Well, so number 1 is the Atlanta Braves.
Wait. No, you're good. Sorry. Nothing was showing up.
Number 2, shouts out Kenny. It is the New York Yankees. Number 3, Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 4, Baltimore Orioles. Number 5, my Philadelphia Phillies. 6, Texas Rangers. 7th, Cleveland Guardians. Big jump from the Guardians from last time to this week. 8, Seattle Mariners. 9th, Toronto Blue Jays. 10th, Houston Astros. Big drop. 11th, Arizona Diamondbacks. 12th, Chicago Cubs. 13th, Tampa Bay Rays. 14th, Milwaukee Brewers. 15th, San Diego Padres. 16th, your Cincinnati Reds. 17th, Minnesota Twins. 18th, Boston Red Sox. 19th, San Francisco Giants. 20th, Detroit Tigers. 21st, New York Mets. 22nd, Los Angeles Angels. 23rd, St. Louis Cardinals. 24th, Kansas City Royals. 3 straight power rankings. We had them at 24. Shouts out. I'm sorry that we keep disrespecting you, Royals. 25th, Pittsburgh Pirates. 26th, Washington Nationals. 27th, Oakland Athletics. 28th, Chicago White Sox. 29th, Miami Marlins. And 30th, the second week in a row, the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. I think some obvious questions people may ask, and I will be the voice of the people asking both of us. Number 1, how are the Dodgers still 3rd? Number 2, how are the Astros still in the top 10? And then how are the Royals being so disrespectful? That would be my 3 biggest questions on this.
Again, these are our combined power rankings, basically. So we go through, we do our each individual own power rankings. And then we come together, we get an average of our 2 power ranking spots for each team. And then we take that average, and that's obviously where we have them. So without giving away our personal power rankings, the Dodgers being that high up still surprises me, I guess.
Okay, so look, the Dodgers are still one of the most talented rosters in the league.
They
still are. They have some injuries. I will say this for the Dodgers and Astros. I'll put both these guys on alert. Both these fan bases, both these teams. We got our yellow flags out for the Dodgers. We got our yellow flags raised for the Astros. I have a stat to read for you, Teddy. You want me to read it?
Read it. Read it, please. Okay.
Now, I'm assuming the Astros continue to lose today, correct?
Astros are still 4th in MLB and F4 for the season, by the way. That's surprising.
So, they've lost a lot of very close games. But 103 teams in MLB history have started 7-16. Okay?
Okay.
Only one of those teams, the 1981 Royals, made the postseason. The Astros are 7-16.
That is a pretty damning stat. I mean, when you're talking
But
about the division that has the Athletics and the Angels in it, and you're sitting here, like, I get it, it's early, it's a 162 game season, but 23 games into there, like, you don't want to be last in your division behind the Athletics and the Angels. Like, it's not
yeah,
looking good. They've been getting swept. It's just not ideal.
yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because there are a couple other teams I'd like for us to briefly mention. But White Sox, we agree, very bad, right?
Yeah, White Sox very, very bad. Both of our
So
teams have swept them recently.
yeah, so 6 of the Royals' wins are against the White Sox.
Okay,
Astros,
so you know what?
Astros, Astros have been playing very bad. 3 of their wins are against the Astros. So 9 of their wins are against teams that are combined to win 10 games. So that's the Kansas City question. I'd like to praise us. Can I praise us for a second?
Praise us, please. I
We
like
didn't
hearing
we didn't
praise.
we didn't get fooled or bamboozled by the Pirates' quick start.
You've been
They've
bamboozled.
been terrible. They've been
Yeah,
terrible, and we have them where they are.
right.
They are who we thought they were.
It was an initial scare from our preseason rankings because we had them so low that they're like 9-2 start was like,
Yeah,
uh-oh, are we idiots? No,
but
we're smart.
They do
We're
it. They
smart.
do it all the time.
We're not the
Um,
best, but
that
we're good.
and they changed their overall rankings. They went up for one of our biggest movers, the Mets. I'll give a quick. I'll give a 30-second shout out to the Mets. Um,
You can
not
start.
30 seconds. 30 seconds too long. They've been playing better. Cool.
Yeah, I
Congrats.
mean, the cool thing about the Mets is we had them preseason power ranked at 17. They fell all the way to 25 with the first power rankings because we were like, ooh, out on the Mets,
Yeah,
out on the Mets, horrible start. And unlike the Astros, they took that bad start and they have, I mean, they put together a strong, I guess, last 2 weeks. And
right.
I mean, they're only 2 games behind the Phils right now.
Yeah. So I mean, they've been one of our teams that have moved the most one way or the other.
One game,
Any other
one game
team?
behind. Sorry.
Obviously, we'll discuss Reds, Phillies here in a minute. Any other teams you want to bring up for this next segment? Obviously, Royals staying in the top 5. Phillies getting hot. Braves being number 1. I mean, they just don't lose anymore. They just are
No.
like, hey, what if we just decide to like not lose anymore?
And
Okay, cool.
it's even games that like they seem out of it, and you
Yeah,
start like as a Phillies fan, I start to get excited. Like I'm learning now, like I don't care. They're going into the ninth
yeah,
inning down 3 runs.
and
Like they're somehow going to turn it around.
yeah, and shouts out to my mom. Finally got her situated with how to watch stuff. I know there's been some problems with MLB watching stuff this year, and she's wanting to watch as many Braves games as possible, which is admirable. It's a little frustrating though because it'll be like 6-1, and she'll just be like, "Well, it's okay, we're still gonna win." I'm like, "That's not how baseball works." And then it's like, "Oh wait, you cheer for the Braves." I guess that is kind of how it works.
That
So
works for them.
that's very frustrating, but they're so good. Unbelievable team, unbelievable roster.
Yeah. By
And
the way, I just want to
yeah,
say the Mets. So they're 12-8 record, very respectable record at this point. All 20 of those games against teams that have a higher than 500 uh,
yeah,
record right now. Like
including the
kind of
Reds.
crazy.
Yeah, they're a weird team. The Brewers. That's a team that has improved for us overall. We were a little worried about them, but hey, they're playing they're playing up to their potential. I
I'll say
wonder with
this.
injury starting how they're going to start playing. Oh,
I just want to say real quick. I think we were also disrespectful to the Brewers having the 14th. Second in F4 right now. They're 9-3 against teams with above 500 record. Shout out Brewers. Shout
okay.
out you, Reese Hoskins. I love you.
And the Rays getting a little extra love. Now, Teddy, I want to ask you a question. I've already started the timer, so this is part of our time here.
Yep.
The last segment, of course, we do have Phillies Reds talk. We can talk about how the teams are doing, and we're about to play each other in a 4-game series, not a 3-game series.
4-game series
A 4
in Cincinnati.
Yes. So I'll actually be there. I'll be on the side. No, I won't.
You wish. If you went to that without inviting me, we would not be friends.
Okay, if I invite you, can you go?
It would depend on factors.
Exactly.
I mean,
Okay.
I at least want the invite, right?
Will you go for the Thursday game if I'm only going for the Thursday game?
25th?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. I just can't miss that much school, but I can miss that day. Yeah. So, I want to give you the option if you want to fully go into Reds Fields right now, because again, as you guys know, our home plate of this, as we just moved off second base of power rankings, is discussing our home teams. And when our guy Kenny or if Alexander ever comes on, he has brought up a cool point. He likes the vantage point of watching from a fan or if Colt watches. He doesn't really have a team he cheers for. Or shouts out to everybody that cheers for different teams.
Shouts
But
out. You
we
gotta have
play,
fans of other teams, or you don't have those
yeah.
teams.
But we play, but we play,
That's
we play each other this
deep.
week. I'm going to throw it to you. Is there any specific other teams on this you would like to discuss first? We're going to kind of blend these last two segments because when we talk about the upcoming series for Reds and Phillies, that's going to be the same series.
Yeah, I mean, no, we can get right into the Reds Phillies talk. I'll say
Okay.
this: the Reds. So y'all were swept by the Mariners, and then you turn around and sweep the Angels. We, the Phillies, are coming off 2 straight sweeps, and I feel like momentum is more in our direction. But there's just something like I guess the home series that we lost to y'all, even though our bats were still like very cold at that point, and now they seem to heat up. There's still something about it that kind of worries me. I'll be honest with you.
Well, permission to speak freely as someone who I am fond of the Phillies, but I'm facing this week, and this is what a skeptic could say.
Yeah, permission.
Okay,
Granted.
so Reds also series to the Mariners, but swept the Angels and who was the other trash team we played?
The White Sox before the Mariners
So
series.
Philly swept the White Sox. Okay,
Yep.
swept the Rockies before, who is our 30th ranked team,
Yep.
and then split with the Pirates, who we have 25th overall,
Yep.
and beat the Cardinals in a series, a team we have 23rd overall, and then the Nationals, who are ranked very low, and then the Reds lost the series to, who we have below our threshold of bottom half team, and then lost the series to the Braves, we have at the top. So I think maybe your fear is just based in like you haven't seen them play like great talent except for the first series of the year.
Right.
So it's like you believe they're getting going. I mean, same thing I have with the Reds where we just lost to the Mariners because they just outpitched us. And I mean, if you want to stay up really late and be really tired the next day, watch some Mariners home games. They pitch to their ballpark so incredibly well. It's very, very impressive. Could have won one of the games, but I mean, they just outpitched. And honestly, our pitching wasn't bad either. That's what was so frustrating.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the Phillies are 4-6 against teams with a 500 or better record. Reds are 4-8. So, the series that we played, the Reds was very close. So I kind of expect more of the same here. I think we have momentum, but again, you have home field, and so there's a lot of different factors, and there's going to be some interesting pitching matchups too, because of like
yeah,
our schedule and how
yeah.
the games are lining up.
Before we get into the actual series preview, we can do an in depth of that. How maybe let people into the brains of how we approach as fans going into any series, and then specifically about this series, of course. Teddy, I just want to say, the Reds overall, I feel that we're in a good spot. I don't mean to sound so skeptical of the team. There's been positives, and this is kind of getting into this series. Today, Frankie Montas is pitching, okay? 3 batters into the game. Comes back, hits him. X-rays have came back negative, but he had to come out of the game in the first inning, which means we had to use 4 relievers to pitch throughout the rest of the game. Now, pitched great, ended up with a shutout, okay? They could have scored one. Joe Adele doesn't really like. Joe Adele would get benched for most middle school teams.
He's like, yeah, there's no fundamentals
yeah,
for that man. It's crazy. Like he has so much raw just skill and athleticism, and then like the fundamentals of baseball, he's like he just doesn't understand what they are.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The Phillies bats are starting it going, where the Reds pitching has been good, and I guess we're kind of getting preview now, but.
And overall, I don't want to get pessimistic about the Phillies because, yes, we just swept the White Sox and the Rockies, who are not good teams at all. But I mean, you got to beat who's in front of you. They're still professional teams. They still
Yeah.
the games are on everyone's schedules. Not everyone's going to beat them. Obviously, they're going to win games, and
Yeah.
it's important that they don't win those games against us. And how dominant we looked, especially against the White Sox, like that matters. It matters for confidence. And I mean, our pitching, dude, our starting pitching is just otherworldly. Red Sox being the only other team with better starting pitching so far this year, like
Yeah,
it's
shouts out to the
crazy.
Red Sox.
Shouts out their pitching staff. Can't go without talking about their pitching staff just being incredible.
Yeah. But what I was going to say about the Reds, and then we can get to the specifics of this. It's already to the point where I'm kind of, don't judge me for this, Teddy. I'm on schedule watch already. Okay. So what I mean by that is we play the Phillies, and then the Rangers, Padres, Orioles, Diamondbacks. So again, Padres are a borderline top 15 team, but those are all teams, and then Giants, Diamondbacks again. And you're going to face good teams. But these next several series for the Reds are kind of going to be, how do you play? How do you bounce back? How do you really get into it? And I just think it's so big because we go on the road against the Rangers, then Padres. And obviously last time we traveled west, especially to the West Coast, it ended in a sweep. Being able to stay at home, being able to be here for the Phillies. It sounds crazy, but we got to win at least 2 of these games in this series.
Yeah.
Because there's some tough games coming up.
Well,
But
I
we
mean,
can compete with anyone.
here's the thing. I feel the exact same way because not like they're tough games because after the Reds, it's the Padres and the Angels, but because all 3 of those series are away. Like, it's a 3-city away stand, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't do that. Like,
Usually it's 2. No, yeah.
Yeah. And so Cincinnati, then the day after the last Cincinnati game on that Friday, traveling to San Diego, playing the Padres, and then we're going to stay in California, but still away game series, play the Angels. Like it's kind of nuts. I don't understand the schedule making there, but
Well, the Reds have the same thing in May where I was looking ahead. And again, I know people may think I'm being crazy or something, but it's Giants, Diamondbacks, Dodgers all on the road, 9 games.
yeah,
Actually 10 games because Dodgers 4 game. And it's just like, look, the reason I'm
so
bringing up all that is because one of my biggest worries about this Reds team all year is veteran leadership. And that is where these situations come because you get down, you go back into familiar situation at home, you're fine. When you have to be gone and playing, if things start falling apart. Now, this team, the core of it, fought back last year. Not enough at the end, but as much as they could. And so I don't really have a final thesis point except for as we get into, and we're almost at the timer now, we get into our actual breakdown of this upcoming series. Just know in the back of my mind there is the future that I'm concerned about, but I'm going to try to stay focused just on this one series.
Go Phils.
All right, so now it's to our last segment. Phillies Reds upcoming series. The Reds will be taking on, it looks like, the Philadelphia Phillies, who are currently second in the AL East. Okay, NL East. God bless. Teams with very similar records ish, and our first matchup of the. Actually, no. Let's do this. What do you first look at whenever you think about a matchup with another team in the series?
I mean, pitchers. That's.
Yeah.
I look at the probable matchups. Like that's what I look
And
at.
it's a 4-game series.
And it's going to start off great. Also, Hunter Green versus Ranger Suarez. Probable matchup. That's exciting. The only thing
Do not
I'll
find that
say,
exciting.
you don't.
No.
We have after that it'll be Christopher Sanchez versus Abbott, and it'll be Spencer Turnbull, who I mean he's coming off of a fantastic game, taking a no-hitter into the 7th inning, versus Lodolo, who's we didn't see the first time around in Philadelphia. What should I expect from Lodolo, Zachary? Just go ahead and give me the rundown on what he started this year.
I've been a huge Lodolo honestly just enthusiast since he was drafted. Obviously, high round draft pick. Doesn't perform great last year at the beginning of the season. Said he wasn't feeling great. You don't want to, obviously, they're not going to like lie, but at the same time, like, come on, dude. Struggled. Beginning of this year, it's like having some pain again. Can't push off, can't do this with his leg. I think he's here, Teddy.
You think
Now,
so?
the opponents he faced have not been great, but he's had 2 outings and he's looked great. His
Huh?
stuff is so good. Lots of movement. Big, long lefty. I mean, he just looks like a guy that's meant to pitch in the major leagues.
Are they giving him
Uh,
free reign with pitch count?
yeah, I mean, that's the
As
only
long as he
reason
can go?
I mean, yes and no. Yes, the same way they would anyone else. Like in his first game, his pitch count got up. It's the only reason he came out at all. He had gave up 1 hit. But I'm very, very excited about him. I'm excited to see what Abbott does because he's one of those guys that he scares me because he pitches to contact more than our other pitchers may. And Lodolo kind of can do both early on in his career. He's obviously got some swing and miss up, and then Hunter Green. I mean, he kind of is going to strike you out, or you're going to hit it out, one or the other. It seems.
Right.
But he just got to limit his walks. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I look at pitching matchups, and I look at like the specifics of, especially a team that I'm more familiar with, like the Phillies. How are they going to pitch to them? And I love that we have Abbott and that we have Lodolo.
Yeah,
But
the Phillies have been way better against right-handed pitchers. And so 3 of these 4 games will be against a lefty starting on the mound. Like, that matters. It does.
that's fine. And game 1, Hunter Green. I think by the 3rd inning, you'll know if it's going to be real bad or
Wow. Interesting. I
when he's
mean,
on. When he's on, he's on.
yeah,
And I love
I
him.
mean,
But I mean, the Phillies are hitting
he's going to
fastballs right
have to
now.
be on because we're going to have Ranger on the bump. Best number 3 in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I
So,
don't have it. Maybe someone you could say Logan Gilbert. Just off the top of my head, if there's another number 3.
yeah.
Honestly, I
Jordan
think
Montgomery.
nah. I really think it would be Logan Gilbert and Suarez are the only two that drop in the comment your favorite number 3 pitcher on the team. But yeah, what about players? I'll toss it to you here. Who are you looking to step up or keep it going in this series?
I mean, honestly, you know who's been on a tear recently for the Phillies has been Johan Rojas. And like the defense that he brings is so invaluable that the Phillies are completely fine if he bats like 240 for us. Like if that's his average for the entire year, like honestly, like we're happy because of the defense that he brings. And so far, I had to get you the actual numbers, but he's batting over 300 in just these last couple of series. Like it's kind of crazy how his bat's come alive. Honestly, Brandon Marsh has been electric, has been all season so far. Trey Turner. I mean, Trey Turner. Let's hope that he keeps his hit streak going with these 4 games, like throughout all 4 games. He's
Yeah,
been incredible.
I don't really that,
But who I really need to pick it up, Zachary, is Bryce Harper.
yeah.
I love Bryce Harper. Literally want to kiss him on the lips. Like
There it is.
I genuinely want him know that he can be the focal point of this lineup. But he just offensively this year, he's had one game really. Maybe like he had another game that was good, blah blah blah. But he's only had one breakout game, and it's like that's the Bryce Harper I know is there. He just hasn't been able to show up. Also, very underrated. His defense at first base, he's been incredible. It's actually wild. Like,
Well, yeah, today, I mean, him and Baum in the corners right now are just
dude, Alec
weird.
Boehm's evolution as a defensive third baseman is crazy. Like, he's always been a good bat, a reliable bat, especially in high pressure situations with, 2 outs, runners in scoring position. He's going to drive them in. You trust him. His only flaw has been his defense. He's been a negative defensive WAR guy his entire career, every single season. And this year, it's like something clicked. Our bench coach has been working with him a lot to improve his defense, and you can see it. We literally, on Sundays, we always have Mike Schmidt in the booth. Shouts out Mike.
Yeah, she's on high. Sure.
And obviously, great defensive third baseman back in his time. And he's talked about the evolution of Alabama over there and how a lot of his plays are like, I mean, it's stuff that he wishes he could do. He had he was talking about his barehanded plays with picking the baseball up, his concentration on looking down at the ball, taking it, and then just firing a bullet over there to Bryce, who will pick
like that one
anything
today.
you throw at him.
Yeah, dribbled over the head. I mean,
it's crazy.
It's like a baseball thing. Once you know you can make those plays, you just become more confident you are going to do it. It's really crazy. But yeah, for the Reds, I mean, Ellie, I could do a 30-minute pod on electricity.
Electric.
Also, again, high strikeout rate, but has just been getting on base more, being a little more patient. He knows how valuable it is. Got walked 4 times in a game.
Dude,
They
yeah.
Hey,
Kyle Silver got walked 3 times today.
Yeah.
It went 1 for 1 with a home run, 3 walks, and a sac fly.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer Steer just keep producing. I mean, he can't come through every time, but it seems like it. Will Benson is back and forth. Obviously, when you throw righties, he's going to have a better chance. Same thing with Jake Fraley in the lineup a little bit. Martini, still hitting decent. Here's what I'm going to call out, and you know where I'm going with this. Encarnacion Strand, he was sick, out a few games, came through today, Sunday game. But he's just got to be a more consistent batter. And when you're facing these guys where you're not going to have a lot of opportunities, he's got to come through. I'm calling him to do that. But there's one person I want to say is going to set the tone of the series, Teddy. Is Jonathan India. I don't understand how his season is. And we're kind of out of time, but I guess just series prediction. How confident are you? What are you going to go with? Again, I guess we'll get Wheeler on the last game of the series.
Yeah, Wheeler versus Ashcraft.
Yeah, and I don't know the severity of Montas's injury. Obviously, it won't affect the Philly series, but who knows what they're going to do.
I mean, it matters going forward, too. It also matters how the Reds choose to handle their bullpen in this series. Well, if they know Montas will pitch, the game after the Philly series ends, then they feel free to deplete the bullpen as they see fit. If they know that he's not going to be good to go, then they might give a longer leash to Lodolo and Ashcraft in those games 3 and 4 because they know they need to save some arms for the game that Montas is supposed to start. So it matters.
Yeah. I mean, collectively as a pitching staff, and the Phillies kind of are a good matchup for us of swinging early in the count. The Reds pitching staff's got to do a better job of limiting their pitch count early on because, I mean, the bullpen's actually been overall good. And shouts out Nick Martinez coming in today. Imagine just having to come in the first inning of a game, pitch 3 innings.
Yeah.
No, wait, sorry.
I remember Jesse Chavez absolutely shut the Phillies down when we took Max Fried out early, and I was getting excited thinking we were going to win that game, and then Jesse Chavez is like, nah, hold it.
Yeah,
crazy.
But, I mean, you could also say that Strider was trying to throw so hard that game. That, all right, prediction for the series?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I choose to believe in our pitching, which has been fantastic, especially our starting pitchers. It's been fantastic. And I choose to believe that our bats have woken up. I really do. I don't care what team it's against. They look so much more electric, and momentum's a very real thing in baseball. And I'm glad that we're facing y'all in the first way series and not the third. But, yeah, I think 3-1 Phils. Hard to sweep a team in 3 games, much harder in 4, especially away.
I saw this team just lose 3 games to the Mariners. But I just don't think that this team is going to. They'll find a way to win one of these. They'll have an ugly win. They'll come through. And I'm going to go even split to have the tiebreaker. Also keep that in mind. For wild card, it's head to head, and we're up 1 game, so need to have the tiebreaker over the Phillies this year, and that's what I'm going for. Win 2 of these 4. It could be big long term. That's all I got for you guys. We will, if you have any ideas of a segment you'd like us to do, let us know. We try to keep it in that 9-ish minute time frame. Shouts out Kenny. Shouts out Colt. Shouts out everybody. Watch us stream. Watch us do what you do. Teddy, take us out of here.
Love y'all.